So for this next part, I'm going to show you a quick trick on how to tear your paper down to a smaller size, because we don't need that big of a sheet for this next exercise. So just fold it back and forth a few times, and you'll see that it'll kind of break apart a little bit on its own. So after a few folds, I will get it started just a little bit by ripping it here about 2 inches. And then with my ring finger, I stick my ring finger in the center of the crease and then just push it down. And ta-da! So we're just going to use this small piece to work on to start with. I'm going to mix up a dark kind of brown mix. We're going to do a little tree practice here. Get some nice dark going and put in the trunk. And then pull up some branches. So I get them a little wiggly and going in different directions. And then flick lightly some little small branches. Just make sure you've got lots of variation and things are not spaced equally. So now with that same mix, I'm just going to water it down, make it really light and transparent, and I'm going to sort of scrape on this bit of color. So this is a winter tree, and it's lost its leaves, and when you scrape on that little bit of color there, it looks like all the branches and twigs and dead leaves. Now we're going to put in a faraway tree. It's the same kind of tree, but since it's far away, it's lighter in color and smaller in size. So that gives us a sense of perspective. So you do the same thing, just lighter and smaller, and now you've got a close tree and a faraway tree. So just flip that paper over, and now we're going to do one little landscape. So I'm mixing up my blue for the sky, and we're just kind of being fun and loose here. So I'm going to put one of those light fluffy clouds in like we did from the last exercise. So I'll mix up that warm yellow. Not too dark. There we go. And I'll spread that around, let it touch the blue. And then close it in with a little more blue and keep that bottom third of the page for the rest of the landscape. So once it's dry, I've got my faraway purple for the distant land, and just putting some bumps in there with my brush to make a bit of background detail. Now I'm going to mix this sort of straw color because it's wintertime and our grass is green, so I bring more yellow into my green, add a tiny touch of rose, and we'll make that straw color. So now as I get closer, I'm going to start getting a little bit of warmth in there. So I'm adding a little bit more rose to it. And these warmer colors come forward because these are the aggressive colors that come at you. Now I decide I'm going to just change the shape of this land a little bit. So I'm pulling in a little bit more warm dark in the front, blending it on the side, and now it looks like there's a little stream that's running off onto the side there by having that bit of land coming out. So for the water, we're reflecting the color of the sky here. So far away is the light blue, and then as it gets closer, darker. And I'm leaving some spaces in there. I'm not painting it solid because there's a bit of ripple in the water, so keep those whites. Now, once it's all the way dry, I'm going to mix up some more dark brown color. So I start with that purple with the French ultramarine and the rose, and then add the yellow into it and until it turns to like a purple color. So I'm just we want the light purple still for this background area, not too dark. And I'm just kind of using the side of the brush to scrape in some of these reeds that are along the side of the water. And I'm going to make a little far away tree, so not too dark. Lots of little branches. And then I will put on little twigs and leaves. So here it's a sunny day, and the sun is behind the trees, so the shadow is coming towards us, or the reflection in the water of the tree. And it's a little bit wiggly because there's movement in the water. And then when you want the reeds coming towards you on the other side, they get a lot darker, and that again gives you the sense of distance. So now for the next trunk, I'll bring that up above the horizon. And have long branches coming all the way up. And I have the branches kind of curving in to the center of the frame area and not leading you out of the frame. You always want to keep the viewer's eyes coming back into the frame. So I flick in lots of little branches. And because the sun is behind there, we don't want the reflections to change directions, so we don't need a reflection coming outside of this one. It's coming towards us. And I'll scrape on a little bit of color for the little small twigs, dead leaves.